Hello, it's me, Rachel. How is everyone? So I've been wanting to hop on this tag started by Rose Honey Ritual and Garden Goddess Tarot, 10 mass market decks, like top 10 mass market decks, or only 10 mass market decks. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Oh my gosh, I thought this was a good idea, recording, and maybe it wasn't so prudent. I have had just a whirlwind of a day, and I thought this would help me unwind or just get some things off my chest. So this was a tag that I was quite intrigued by, and I've been meaning to participate for quite some time, but this was hard. Choosing only 10 sometimes for me is sort of a joke, but I try nonetheless. So let's just try and hop right in. So yes, definitely, Thoth and Rider-Waite are, would definitely be in my top 10, but they don't count. And I like that. It's probably a rule I would have created anyway. So everyone knows the Thoth. This is just the standard size by US Games. The first copy that I owned, actually. And I keep it in this little crochet pouch that I made. Anyway, and then for my RWS, Rider-Waite Smith, it's my Albano, which, yeah, if you've seen some of my videos, you know this is my favorite RWS. So I'm not going to waste too much time talking about those, because I did in my only 10 decks video. So if you really, really want to hear more about that and you didn't check it out, yeah. And then I don't know if this is cheating. It probably is, but whatever. I'm going to go with it. I kind of feel like the Hermetic could be in that category as well. Like, I just feel like it's, on par with the Thoth and the Albano. It's such a classic, and yeah, I'll just kind of, I guess that was from my last reading. Oh my God, what did I do? Sorry, I'm just OCDing a bit. They all have to be the same, facing the same way. I really don't know what I did. But whatever, I'm not going to edit it out. I can't bother with that. So it's just an amazing deck. Love that moon. The scarab. I just love it. Yeah, there's something odd about this in that I'm not sure why, but whenever I use this deck, Mozart comes to mind. I don't know why. Must be tied to some memory, or I don't know. He was a Mason. All right, so let's see. What should I begin with? Okay. Margaret Peterson is a no-brainer. If you love this deck, then you know. So this was in my top only 10 decks video. So I'm going to try not to say too much about it. I'll probably repeat myself a bit. Yeah, this is the... There's two different mass-published versions of this right now, or maybe this isn't in print anymore. I don't know. I want the one with the purple the plum borders, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. So yeah, this deck is very special to me because, well, the art speaks for itself. When I got back into tarot, I had taken a break. Not necessarily a break, I just wasn't really using my decks. I don't know, I had like 3 decks. The Morgan Greer, which is definitely a favorite, I didn't include it. And I had this Arthurian deck and a little mini, The Harmonious by Lo Scarabeo. And back in like, I don't know, 2016 or 2017, I found myself wanting another deck. And I don't remember where I saw this, but I wanted this one. I'm really articulate right now. But at that time, I think I was really, really good with my money, or I didn't have as much, and I just felt like $40 was, whoa, way too much to spend. So I didn't end up picking this up until, I don't know, a couple of summers ago. And yeah, I definitely use this when I need the truth, when I want to, I don't know, journey. It's just so, like, so evocative. This Magician card, I mentioned this in my Only 10 Decks video, but this card helped me overcome my fear of driving. I hate driving. And a couple of summers ago, long story short, we went through sort of a family crisis where I was the only one in the house who could drive. And I hate driving, and I hadn't driven since my daughter was a newborn. Back when I lived in New York State, and then I moved to New England, and I just, no, that wasn't going to happen. I don't know, it was like years since I had been behind the wheel, and I remember this one day I just really, really wanted to do something fun. I wanted to go to the beach, but my fear of driving was preventing me, and I had been driving here and there, but just locally. And that morning I did my daily reading, and I drew this card, and something about it, the Magician, just clicked. I don't know. It was powerful. And I went to my boyfriend and I told him, I was like, I'm going to drive to Salem. I want to go to the beach. I want to go to Reds. I want to walk around. I'm going to do this. I was so scared, but every time that I felt like this anxiety behind the wheel, I would conjure up this image of the Magician. And I don't know, it just did wonders for me. And so, you know, I already had a really warm reception of this deck, and now and forever, I will always hold this close to my heart. All right, so that's the Margaret Peterson. That's a AGM deck. All right, so let's see, which one do I want to talk about next? All right, the Navigator's Tarot. Now, this is another one that was in my Only 10 Decks video. I promise you there's going to be some decks you haven't seen here. So I have like 3 copies of this deck. Yeah. I have a backup, and then I have an extra copy because my daughter, she wanted one. I don't know. That's kind of cool. She's only like 12, but it really resonated with her. So I said this before, and I'll say it again. I really hope one day they will come out with a deluxe edition of this. Again, like, I love this size. I don't mind the borders at all. I like the keywords. They make me think about things differently. And I love how this fits in my hands, but there's just so much going on in these paintings that some of the details are a bit lost. So I wish that they would come out with a larger size like they do with the Thoth. I don't hear enough about this deck, but I feel like maybe that's changing a bit. At the time that I bought this on eBay, I think it was only like $9. Somebody was selling quite a large stock of these for under $10. I don't know what it goes for now. Yeah, there's something about it. It's extremely atmospheric to me. I just get lost in this world. I just feel that the creator had the best intentions for whoever was going to use this deck. Just this powerful, loving energy. And it's a study deck. This is the book that took me quite some time to find. I just couldn't find it. Anytime I did, it was just much more than I was going to spend. And then I discovered that you could order it through, what is it, Lulu Publishing. It's like a print-on-demand site. And I was so stoked. So I've been slowly working my way through this. Kind of took a little break because I've been reading some other things. But anyway, let's move on. I'm trying not to be too long-winded here. So that is the Navigator's Tarot from US Games. Yeah. Okay. So, Deviant Moon. Now, everybody knows Deviant Moon. Now, I talked about this at length. Not in my only 10 decks, but in one of my, monthly wrap-up videos or at-present videos. This was a deck that, for many years, I just sort of ignored. I didn't think it was for me. It wasn't really my aesthetic. I was a little bit put off, afraid of it. I really, really fell in love with Patrick Valenza's Triomphe della Luna decks, which, if you know those decks, the characters are very much like these, but they don't put me off at all. So I think it's not so much the characters, but the medium. The medium is different, and it's the atmosphere, which was nightmarish to me. But at some point, I came around to it, and, I always knew it was a great deck. I always had respect for it, even if I didn't think it was my aesthetic. And so I just found it so intriguing. I wanted to see if I would resonate with it at all, because I felt like I just wasn't going to. And I feel as though I've been invited into this world that I did not think was for me. And that's exciting. I really have a strong feeling of being invited. So having discovered my, positive reception to it, I've also discovered something new about myself. That's pretty cool, if that makes any sense. So yeah, Deviant Moon. And that's a US Games. All right, the Ancient Italian Tarot. So, yeah. This deck is on this list because, well, I love it. But I just think that this is the best historical reproduction deck that is available mass market. Yeah, this is in order because I was going to do a video. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I was sick, and it's very hard for me to find time to make videos because everybody in the house has to be quiet, and I'm never home alone anymore. I was going to do a side-by-side of these two decks. So this is 1880 and this is 1835. So this deck is basically what people know as the Soprafino, you know, like the Il Meneghello deck. And this one is, you know, produced later. And this is a great deck too. But this one, everything about it, the way the colors pop, the backs, the little borders, aside from, you know, many, not Il Meneghello, many of the Lo Scarabeo decks tend to have like these weird keywords on the side or different languages, and this does not. And it's nice having a historical reproduction deck that you're not afraid to use. I will say that mass market decks, especially these, when they go out of print, often they're more expensive than the self-published decks, but this is definitely still in print. I'm pretty sure it is anyway. So what I really, really love about this deck, the Ancient Italian, are the pips. I love Marseille for the pips, and this one is just, I don't know, they're gorgeous. Yeah, it's kind of annoying me that they're in order. I forgot about that. I really have to get around to making that video at some point, because I thought it would be useful. I didn't know. I was puzzled too. I bought the classic tarot when I was in Salem last summer. And when I brought it home, I realized, oh, I thought it was this one. And I didn't realize, I thought it was just two different copies by Lo Scarabeo of the same deck with just different borders. I didn't realize that this is actually different. But they're both beautiful. It took me some time to decide which one I liked more, and I think it's this one. So anyway, that is the Ancient Italian by Lo Scarabeo. Oh, jeez. Okay, I give up. Okay. Tarot of Vampires. I'm sure most of you know this. I ended up with this deck a few years ago because I just kept hearing about how wonderful the guidebook is. And I don't know, I didn't believe that it was that great. I can be a bit of a snob, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was, I don't know. I was just in doubt that it could be that great or as good as people were saying that it was. I was like, what can you find in a guidebook to a vampire deck that you can't find in some other like well-revered esoteric book? So my curiosity was piqued and I downloaded the app. What is the name of that company? I don't remember. Fool's Dog or something like that. It was $4. I downloaded the app. So you have the digital version of the cards on your phone, and it includes the guidebook. And I started reading the guidebook. By the way, I love this Six of Cups. It's beautiful. And I was like, oh my God, Rachel, you're such a snob. This is amazing. So I bought the deck. Yeah, the guidebook is just all, you know, it's meaty. There aren't any pictures in here or anything. It's all just text. It's the same. This deck gives me the same vibe that the Navigator's Tarot does, in that I feel the creator just had the best intent for whoever was going to bring this deck in their life. Just something very warm and inviting, you know, even though they're vampires or whatever. So this is a great beginner deck because I've heard people can just work with this on a very intuitive sort of level. But it's also wonderful for people who are, you know, well-versed in tarot. There's a lot going on that might not be initially obvious, but there's all sorts of, you know, astrological associations and whatnot going on here. I wasn't sure if I cared for the art too much at first, but I especially love these kings. I just love these skies. They're so cool. This deck, oh my gosh, what do they want to say say about it? These images, some of them solidified for me some of the cards that I was having a hard time grasping. Like this one here, the Six of Swords. I was going through a really hard time around the time that I bought this deck. And I just remembered being in a car at night and just, I remembered I was just trying to put myself, like my mind, up and above, removed from the situation, which was suffocating. And I closed my eyes and I remembered that I saw this, like this actual card here. And I was like, yeah, finally, like Six of Swords, just, I got it. I got the message. And the same thing with the Magician card, which was not a card stylistically that I resonated with. I don't know if I flipped through it already, but I was at a bar one night. Again, it was just a hard time. I was, you know, filing for divorce. Yeah, there it is. And I was thinking on things. I remembered that at that time I was keeping a tarot journal, and every single day I would record my 3 cards, and I noticed that the Magician was a card I wasn't grasping, and it was a card that I never, ever, ever drew in my readings. And I was sitting at the bar that night, and I kind of went off. I zoned out because my boyfriend was busy talking to somebody else, and I saw this, and I remembered thinking like, oh my God, the reason that I never get the Magician card from any deck is because the Magician is exactly what I'm missing from my life right now. And then it was cool because then when I started to think about it, I started getting the card and things started improving. I don't know. All right. So, and also the Tarot Vampires is a Thoth-based deck, which I think is one of the reasons why it's so deep. I don't know why I'm still talking about that, but okay. Tarot of the Cat People. Yeah, this is another U.S. Games. By the way, Tarot Vampires is Llewellyn. Sorry, I need a drink. Anyway, I guess I'm not very organized. Yeah, I just love this. I love this world. I love cats. Anyway, I am a cat person. I don't know. This deck came out in 1984. And, yeah, the fact that it's still in print, like, it is a weird deck. It's weird. The fact that a deck like this is still in print, to me, attests to its appeal. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many cool decks that have gone out of print. And I mean, a deck doesn't have to be appealing to the masses to be a good deck. No, but I do find that interesting. Unless this did experience a long spell where it was out of print. I have no idea. I love this tower. But yeah, I totally dig this deck. And the backs. I love them. Yeah. Colors, everything. All right. Tarot of the Cat People. Sorry. All right. Now what? All right. Ancestral Path. Okay. So I have included this because Julie Kuchia Watts, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's amazing artist. Amazing. And I have her Journey into Egypt tarot. I don't have her mock tarot. There's a couple of others. This is a reprinted deck. This came out, I forget when. I want to say it came out, this is like 1995. This is an older deck. And when I heard they were reprinting it, I forget when, a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, I was so stoked. I just think that it's wonderful that this is available mass market, because yeah, her Journey into Egypt and her other decks are not, they're self-published, and so, you know, the prices coincide with that, which I get. Like, they're so worth it. They're quite an investment, but they're so worth it. So yeah, the fact that this is, you know, US Games, which I love their card stock. I just think it's great. I just think that's wonderful that something like this is available to more people. So these cards are huge. This is like one of my biggest decks, and I don't use it a lot for that reason, I suppose. So I wish that, you know, I don't wish that it was smaller. I think that these absolutely deserve to be on these giant cards, because look at these paintings. My God. But it would be cool to have something a little smaller, to have both. I think the first edition of this had borders and it was smaller. I think this is better, but I still kind of want the other one. It's amazing. I think it's still in print. All I can say is, if you are attracted to this, if you have like $20 to spare within your budget, go get it. Just go get it while it's still in print. It's so worth it. I'm just in awe of her talent. Beautiful deck. I want to set some time aside for this to work with it more. Oh, look how gorgeous this is. I want to say that there was a book that she wrote that goes along with it, and that is not, unfortunately, part of, oh, cute, the set. But yeah, I can't afford the book. Tarot guidebooks, when they go out of print, can be very pricey. I've gotten lucky with some, but not this one. All right, moving on. So, Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg. I talked about this in, Good Mood Decks, my last video. So this is a deck that, as I was saying, this is going to be redundant if you saw that, but this was a deck that for many years I was aware of, but every time I saw it, I would just sort of go no and move on. From time to time, I would do search for, Russian tarot decks, because I love Russian lit and culture, and I wanted something that reflected that world. But whenever I would see this, I would just sort of like look at it without really seeing it. I just saw this really heavy border with this little oval image, and I thought that every card was like essentially the same, or I mistook it at one point for being like the Russian icons, the Russian icon art, which is fine. It's just that's not what I wanted. And at some point, I decided to get this, and wow, was I blown away. It's beautiful. US Games, nice size stock, and I don't know how well this is showing up on here, but these images, even though I guess, they're on the smaller side, they have this way of, for me anyway, drawing me in and appearing larger than they are. It's a very immersive deck for me. I suppose you have to have some sort of connection to this sort of atmosphere, but they're also extremely clear. Like, wonderful printing job. Like, nothing is blurry. It's all crystal clear. It's gorgeous. I love this moon card. And I really hope you can see this, because I have not been looking at my screen at all to see if it's showing up. I've been staring at the cards. It's a very clear reader for me. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Oh my God, Stalin. Yeah. This is beautiful. All right. So yeah, that is the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg by US Games. Oh, my stupid Band-Aid. I don't want that's going to heal. Okay. Let's see. I think we're almost done here. All right. The Voyager Tarot. Okay. This is a really cool deck. There's this little guidebook in here, which is, I think it's quite good. Yeah, it's quite good. There is a larger book I know that you can get for the deck. I never went about buying it. I did buy James Wanless. I bought another book that he had, like a workbook for the Thoth, but I never got around to getting this guidebook. So this is a wonderful deck. It's a collage deck from the 80s. And I don't mind these keywords at all, or the swapping out of elements or whatever. But I know some people don't like them, but anyway, so this deck here is the reason that I don't own some of the other decks that have come out in recent years. like it's staved off that impulse. Like there's a lot of really intriguing collage decks out there that I've considered, and then I'm like, no, I have this, and I feel like those decks remind me of this. So I'm not saying they're not worth buying. I'm just trying my best not to accumulate too much. I haven't done the best job. But yeah, honestly, I think that this is like one of the best collage decks, and it's a classic. Like I said, it's from the 80s. Look at this 9 of Wands. It's so thought-provoking. I haven't used this in a minute because I don't know. I think I was using this during a really difficult time. And like I've mentioned before, I kind of have this bad habit of associating things with bad memories or places. I'll develop a negative relationship with a place that makes me think of like a bad breakup or something. I've gotten better about it, like a lot better, but that's the only reason I can think of for not really feeling compelled to pick this up, because I mean, look at it. It's amazing. I can't say anything bad about it. I don't think I'll ever part with it. But yeah, you know, if you've had your eye on some of those collage decks out there that can be like, you know, really pricey, take a look at this. As far as I know, this is still in print, and I think it's like 20 bucks. Look at that Magician. It's just awesome. So yeah, that is the Voyager Tarot. All right. Let's see. What did we not show? I know. Okay. All right. Haindl Tarot. Okay, so this is one that I had on my list for quite a while, and it took me a little bit to buy it. Anyway, it sat on my wish list for like a couple of years before I bought it. I've owned this for like a couple of years now. Because it wasn't going anywhere, you know. It's a US Games deck. And then I eventually did buy it like a couple of summers ago when I was in Salem, and I brought it home and I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe it took me this long to buy this deck. It's very mythological, elemental. I forget when this came out, 80s or 90s. There's just something about this that just really draws me in. It kind of, I don't know, it affects me in an emotional way. So you have your Hebrew letters. For the majors, you have runes. And then for the minors, you have like these hexagrams. It's a study deck. There are 2 books for this. So let me see. Did I bring it with me? I meant to bring it with me. Oh, I don't see it. I meant to bring it with me in here. I had it on my bed. I was reading it. So there's 2 different guidebooks for this. One for the major arcana and one for the minors. And this deck is by Herman Haindl. Is that how you pronounce his name? And the guidebooks are written by Rachel Pollack. At the time that I wanted to get my hands on them, they were very hard to find and very expensive. But I just felt like I really, really have to try to get these guidebooks. There's certain guidebooks that are out of print that, you know, I haven't purchased because I'm like, okay, it's just for novelty reasons. I don't really, you know, need that. But this, yeah, I was like, any other information you can give me on this deck, I would appreciate. So yeah, I was able to buy them, but they weren't very cheap. They weren't like horribly expensive, but more than I wanted to spend. But now I think I just saw them on Amazon for, you know, a standard paperback price. I was like, whatever. I'm glad that they're available. I didn't pay that, like, too much for them. But yeah, this is just, wow. Like, this is honestly one of the best decks. This was one of the contenders for my only 10 decks, period. But, you know, it's like, how do you choose 10? How do you choose 10? But, like, you know, this could be in both of those tags. So did I show 10? Let's see. Navigator's Tarot, Deviant Moon, Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg, Ancestral Path, Tarot Vampires, Haindl, Ancient Italian Cat People, Margaret Peterson, Voyager. I think I showed 10. I hope I did. There were some contenders. The Touchstone Tarot was one I almost chose. William Blake, Mary L., which was part of my, you know, only 10 decks video. The Jeopardy, the Animal Totem. I don't know. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up. So hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching. Bye.